it's Haley, and today I'm going to be doing my May wrap-up. So May overall was just kind of a weird month. I ended up being really busy and I wasn't really expecting it. At the beginning of the month they announced that the store that I work at is closing, so I've just been working crazy hours working on closing the store, so it has just been absolutely chaotic to say the least. But I actually did pretty well in my reading. I was able to read 8 books, which I'm super happy with, and I was able to read a classic this month, which almost didn't happen, but I did it. So let's just get into what I read. And as per usual, if I have a review for any of these books, I will link it down below for you guys. So the first book that I read this month was actually a reread, and that was The Wrath in the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. That's how people told me to pronounce it, so I'm going with it. But I ended up rereading this book in anticipation for the conclusion to the duology. I listened to the audiobook and I really loved it. I loved it just as much as the first time that I read it, and it really just kind of pumped me up to read the conclusion, and it just kind of refreshed my memory, so I think it was a really good decision. And I ended up giving this a 5 out of 5 stars, just like I did the first time. And I do have a review for this one, so it'll be linked down below for you guys. Next, I picked up The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater. This is the highly anticipated but equally dreaded conclusion to the Raven Cycle Quartet, and honestly, it did not disappoint me. I thought it was just so fabulous. I fell in love with it, and I think it was just the perfect conclusion to a fantastic series, and I'm so sad that it's over, but so glad that I was able to read it. I fell in love with the characters and the world, the writing, everything about it was just so on point, and I cannot recommend this series enough. It is just so good, and I have a review for each of the books in the series, so I'll link that down below for you guys. Next is Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. I ended up picking up this book because I had heard such fantastic things and everyone was recommending it to me. It was kind of the hype of the moment, the new kind of 50 Shades of Grey hype thing, so I picked it up and I had really high expectations, and honestly it didn't really meet those expectations. I was a little bit let down. I did really enjoy it. I still gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, but I just didn't fall in love with the story and I didn't have the emotional connection that I was expecting to. I do have a review where I go more in depth into that and why I think that happened. I just think I'm going to enjoy the movie more than I enjoyed the book. It's just one of those rare occasions where I prefer a movie to a book, and it happens sometimes, so I don't know. Next, I picked up The Rose and the Dagger by Renee Ahdieh. This is the conclusion to the Wrath in the Dawn duology, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good, but I did find it was kind of a step down from the first book in the duology. I found that the world building wasn't as great as the first book. There were lots of magical things that were happening in this book, and I just felt like they weren't very well explained, but they had the potential to be so amazing. I did really like the characters and the fact that they were able to stand independently, but the romance was kind of put on the back burner, which wasn't a huge issue, but it did kind of take away from my enjoyment of the story a little bit. Since it was so central to the first book, it felt a little bit disconnected. But I do have a review for this one up, so I will link that down below for you guys. And I gave this one a 4.5, I think? A 4 or 4.5 out of 5 stars. I think a 4. I don't know. Next, I picked up The Crown by Kiera Cass. This book came out earlier this month and I was really excited for it, kind of a little bit apprehensive. This is the conclusion to the Selection series, which you guys know I love, and the previous book in the Selection series, The Heir, I wasn't a huge fan of. I didn't enjoy it as much as I had enjoyed the previous 3 books in the series, so I was a little bit nervous about this one, but it did fix a lot of the issues that I had with The Heir. Now, I can't really go into my feelings on this without spoiling the previous books in the series, so I do have a spoiler-free review for this book up, and I will link that down below for you guys so you guys can get more coherent thoughts. Next, I picked up The Queen of the Tearling by Erica Johansson. I was just kind of in the mood for something with royalty and really fantastical, and this definitely delivered on that front. It was on my summer TBR too, so that's another check mark off of that, and I listened to the audiobook for it, and I really loved it. I loved the characters, loved the world. I thought it was really well built, the characters were well developed, and the whole thing was just really intense and really cool, and I'm excited to continue with this series. So I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. Then I picked up The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson, and this book was definitely my favorite book of the month. If not, it's in the top books of the year. I loved this book so much. I knew that it was going to be great because Morgan Matson can't write anything that is bad. Like, she's just fantastic. but it blew me away. Like, this is right up there with Amy and Roger's Epic Detour for my favorite Morgan Matson books. Just so fabulous and so enjoyable. I thought it was so fun, and it's really just the perfect summer read. The girl is a dog walker, so you have dogs in there. It's metafiction. There's a writer in there. Like, it is just fantastic, and I cannot recommend it enough. Then the final book that I read this month was the classic for the month. You guys, if you watched my 2016 reading resolutions video, then you will know that I put my resolution as to read a classic each month. And this month was the first month where I didn't have school, so I didn't have a classic to read for that. So I've kind of been cheating so far, but I almost missed this month, but I didn't. I ended up picking up Heidi by Johanna Spyri, and I loved it. I thought it was so much fun, so adorable. It's a little bit preachy, but I mean, it's a product of its time period. Overall, Heidi is just so cute, and I loved the whole atmosphere of the book. I just really enjoyed it. So that is all for my wrap up for May. Let me know what you guys read in May, or if you've read any of these books, your thoughts on them. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!